Imagine a place where each stone teaches you more than a history book. Imagine a place where mystic peaks, serene beaches, golden plains shake hands. This is not a fantasy land. This land is very much real. This land has the salutation, one state, many worlds. This land is none other than my home state, Karnataka. Fasten your seatbelts because we are going on a ride and explore different facets of this beautiful world. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Let's keep up this energy. So let us begin the first chapter of our journey. Chapter 1, Geographical Diversity. Karnataka is blessed to have Western Ghats on the coastline. Thanks to these Ghats, we have got wonderful places which have become famous, like that of Chikmagalur, Sakleshpur, Madikeri. Western Ghats is also a UNESCO registered heritage site, which is completely full of lush green hills and forests. When I was visiting Coorg for the first time, I really liked the ride to Coorg than the stay at Coorg. As the Innova was reaching Coorg, I was amazed at the greenery. It was a wonderful experience to be seated in the front row of a Innova, traveling at 60 km speed, and cool chilly winds hitting my face, greenery surrounding me. It was my first time in Coorg, and it was once in a lifetime experience. Moving on, we also have serene beaches, thanks to wonderful places which are famous in Mangalore, Murudeshwar, Gokarna, Karwar, and many more. Karnataka has many famous beaches like Om Beach, Kudla Beach, Malpe Beach. Yet one beach that stands out is the Marvante Beach. Marvante Beach is in the district of Udupi. Kundapura Taluk. Yeah, thank you. Kundapura Taluk, Udupi district. The unique facet of this beach is, on one side of the beach is the Soparnika river, on the other side of the beach is the Arabian Sea. And this highway you see here runs completely parallel to the coastline. Travel bloggers, travel lovers, photographers always say, once in a lifetime, people must experience sunset and sunrise at this place. We live in a land with serene peaks, misty lands, and wonderful beaches. Hence, this echoes the statement, one state, many worlds. Are you ready for chapter 2?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Now that we have visited the peaks and the beaches, let's go into a colorful world. Let us explore the cultural diversity of Karnataka. Let us begin chapter 2, Cultural Kaleidoscope. Karnataka is thankfully home to linguistic communities, indigenous communities, tribal communities of many orders. Starting with the indigenous dance forms, Karnataka is very famous for Yakshagana. There was a recent film called Veera Chandra Gase. It is currently in Amazon Prime. The entire movie is Yakshagana based. We also have Dollu Kudi. This picture is from a recently concluded literature festival. Thankfully, this dance form is getting very good prominence, and I am happy to see many corporate events including this dance form in their agenda. Also, we have Hulivesh. Coming to this, I have to thank Mr. Rakshit Shetty and his gang for the wonderful movie Udidavaru Pandante. Many people people, even in Karnataka, was not aware of this dance form called Hulivesha. The movie popularized this dance form and it got extreme prominence across the state. And this was a pre-social media era. This movie was released like nearly a decade back, and yet it gained the prominence. Also, Karnataka also has various tribal communities like the Soligas. Soligas have their own indigenous customs. We also have the Lambanis, and we also have the Kodavas. Kodavas, I must say, are an actual symbol of courage and valor. They have a very prominent dance form called Ummat Aata. So, overall, when you see different dance forms, different customs, different way of life, enrich the cultural beauty of Karnataka. When we come closer to Bangalore, we have a place called Mysore. Mysore is very much famous for Dasara. Dasara is celebrated as a festival to commemorate the victory of good over evil. Every year Dasara is celebrated and it interests tourists from different parts of Karnataka, different parts of India, different parts of the world. During the Dasara celebration, it's amazing to see divine processions, well-lit streets, well-illuminated palace, and most important, lip-smacking food. And talking of Bangalore, Bangalore I feel is famous for three things: traffic, and traffic. But there is one more thing Bangalore is famous for. It is for the Karaga festival. Karaga festival is celebrated in honor of Draupadi of Mahabharata. This festival is celebrated as Dharmaraya temple near KR City Market. The beauty of this festival is the unbroken tradition of visiting a 18th century Muslim saint's tomb every year. This is a custom which symbolizes Hindu-Muslim unity. How was chapter 2?
Excellent. Excellent.
Now we have gone through a colorful cultural journey. Let us enter a different realm. This realm is composed of words. This realm has words which are more powerful than swords. Let us begin the third chapter, literary prose. Kannada is actually the most dominant and official language of Karnataka. Having said that, there are other languages which have thrived and survived, namely Tulu, Konkani, Kodava, and Urdu. And the beauty is that Karnataka not only has multiple languages, Kannada itself has different dialects. People say the dialect of Kannada, the accent of Kannada changes every 100 kilometers. I am talking of legacy of Kannada literature, it spans more than a millennium. The early known works were Kaviraja Marga, written by Amogha Varsha, as well as Vikramarjuna Vijaya, written by Adikavi Pampa. These were written around 18th, 9th century AD. Later on in 12th century, this slant was something called as a Vachana movement. This Vachana movement was led by Sri Basavanna, Sri Akkamahadevi, Sri Allama Prabhu. Vachanas are basically small verses written in poetic prose format to give a social message. This movement brought immense societal reforms on this land. Added to it, around this time, we had something called as the Dasa Sahitya movement or the Bhakti movement. This was led by Sri Purandara Dasa, Sri Kanakarasa. If you think modern literature of Kannada hasn't done anything, it has done a lot. Karnataka has received 8 Jnanapith awards. Some of the major Jnanapith awardees are Sri Kuvenpu is known for his work called Malegalalli Madhumagalu. Sri U.R. Anantamurthy, who is known for his works like Samsara and Prashne. Sri Girish Karnad, who has given immense contribution to Kannada literature and Kannada theatre. added to it. Recently, a Kannada author and a Kannada book got international recognition. I am talking about Srimati Banu Mushtaq, who had written a Kannada book called Hasina Mattu Itara Kathegalu. And this book got translated into English called Heartland. And this book received the Booker Prize. This is the book called Heartland. The original version and the translated version are both available online. It basically talks about the hardships a woman faces in a conservative Muslim community. Having talked all this, how can I not talk about my favorite author? My favorite author is not a Jnanapita Awardee, yet his books have got republished and republished and republished. My favorite author is
Mr. Bhairappa.
Yeah, thank you. Each and every one of book is a rank page turner, is an eye opener. I always say S.L. Bhairappa is way ahead of his time. Look at each and every one of his work. Parva, Anshu, Anveshana, Dhruvabhanga, Vamshavruksha, Kavalu, Matadana, Sakshi. The genres of each and every book are different, and yet they also give a message intended to the theme of the subject. So thanks to this, I can proudly say Karnataka has witnessed a legacy of a millennium, starting from the Vachana movement to the Booker Prize. And then I proudly echo the word, one state, many words. So we have spoken so much about words, literature, books. Let us now jump out of the books, pick our backpacks and roam the streets. Because the next chapter is going to unveil the tourism heritage of Karnataka. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So let us begin chapter 4, tourism diversity. Karnataka is home to many UNESCO heritage sites. One of the popular UNESCO heritage sites is Hampi. Hampi was the capital of Vijayanagara Empire. Today, Hampi is not as beautiful as it was at its peak. Today, Hampi is not as beautiful as it is mentioned in the historical records. Yet, Hampi still offers a plethora of temples with surreal beauty. The stone chariot present at Hampi is a prime example of the architectural marvel of the people at that time. If you thought that was all, we also had the Chalukyan Empire rule this land between 6th to 8th century. This empire gave us rock-cut caves, well-carved temples in the area of Badami, Aihole and Patalka. The beauty of their temples were, they always had a blend of Nagara and Dravida style of architecture. And many of these sites are also recognized by UNESCO. Going further south, we have the Belur Halebelur temple, which was built by the Hoysala Empire. When I visited the Belur temple for the first time, I paid 500 rupees to hire a guide for a 30 to 45 minutes walk through. And trust me, it was one of the best investment I had done. Each and every sculpture, each and every monument has a special significance. It covers a range of topics from Vastu, Hindu gods, Hindu mythology, human thought process. There are even sculptures of a woman applying makeup. There are even sculptures of women playing music. That is how thought out each and every carving in the temples. Having said all this, how can I forget North Karnataka? North Karnataka is home to amazing forts and gumbas in the districts of Bijapur, Bidar and Gulbarga. I am sure you have all heard of Gol Gumbas and you all know of UNESCO heritage currently the tentative list to be recognized as a UNESCO heritage site. If things go as per plan, Gol Gumbaz will also be recognized as a UNESCO heritage site. And the beauty of this stream of architecture is they offer a blend of Indian and Persian influence. So before going further, let us see how much we all know about Karnataka. Any idea where this place is from? Where this is from?
This is Somnath project.
No. This is covered in my speech. This is Badami temple.
Badami temple. Badami.
This is
Belur.
This is
Chennakeshwar. Chennakeshwar.
What about this?
This is Murdeshwar.
Murdeshwar. Okay. Now let me give option over here. Okay. Any idea?
Ayurveda. Badami. Badami or Ayurveda?
Badami Ayurveda. Yeah. Okay, and this is from a Rangantittu.
Rangantittu.
Yeah, Rangantittu is a bird sanctuary in Mysore, and Rangantittu is called as the Pakshi Kashi of Karnataka. And the beauty of Rangantittu is birds from different countries also come here to migrate and to breed. So this is the one of the migratory bird. This is called as a stork. This is also in Rangantittu. This is obviously you all know it's a tiger from Bandipur. This is a pelican from Rangantittu. And this is also from Rangantittu, which is a marsh crocodile. So how was chapter 4?
Fantastic.
Fantastic, okay. We are not yet done. Now the thing is, after speaking so much, after traveling across Karnataka, I've got hungry. And what do we do when we get hungry?
Eat.
We eat. An idea what my next chapter is going to be?
Food.
Very good, yeah. So let us explore chapter 5, culinary experience. You go to coastal part of Karnataka towards Mangalore. You are welcome to dishes like neer dosa, banga fry, that is fish fry. You go to places like Coorg. You are welcome to dishes like pandi curry, that is pork curry, and dishes of bamboo shoots. You go up north. You are welcome to dishes like jodada roti, java roti, ennegai, that is brinjal curry. You come down south. You are welcome to dishes like idli, dosa, vade, kesibat, kharabat, whatnot. If you think Karnataka is all about spice food, you are not. We also have wonderful sweets like Mysore pak, Dharwad peda, Kundapur churma. If you ask me what is my special day all about, it would be like having breakfast at Vidyarthi Bhavan, that is a masala dosa, followed by filter coffee at MPR, followed by jodada roti meals at Kamal Bugle Rock, followed by chats at Vivipuram Food Street, and a dinner with sumptuous gourmet pizza. When you take Bangalore, when you take Karnataka, it has food to satiate any palate of the world. In conclusion, I want to say something. Is it fine to say that what I have covered today are just teasers, but what's left to be covered are mega serials? What I have covered today is just 1% of the iceberg. What's left to be uncovered is 99% of the iceberg. I am proud to be born in Karnataka, and Karnataka is proud to be part of India. The reason I say this is each and every state, starting from Jammu and Kashmir in the north to Kanyakumari in the south, starting from Gujarat in the west to Arunachal Pradesh in the east, each state has its own stories, own accolades, own chapters. However, if you ask me what is one thing you would like to say about Karnataka, I would say ಹುಟ್ಟಿದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ನಾಡನ್ನು ಹುಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಮೆಟ್ಟಿದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಣ್ಣನ್ನು ಮೆಟ್ಟಬೇಕು. I want to be born here, I want to die here. Truly, Karnataka is one state, many worlds. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.